In this tutorial, we'll generate a Rails app. First, I need a directory to store my app in. On the desktop, create a new folder. Call it learn_Rails. Then, open your terminal. Type ls to list out all the folders and files in this directory. And remember, a directory is the same thing as a folder. So I want to navigate to the Learn Rails directory that we just created. First, we need to change into the desktop directory. To change directories, type cd desktop. List out all the folders in your desktop directory, and we can see Learn Rails. cd into your Learn Rails directory. Right now there's nothing inside of Learn Rails. I want to ensure I'm not already in a Git repository. Type git status. It says fatal, not a Git repository. This is good. This is what we want to see, because this means we're not already in a Git repository. We'll create a Git repository later. To generate a new Rails app, type Rails new, and then the name of your app. You could call it anything you want, but I'll call my app Learn Rails Blog. Rails is now creating the project's folders and files. Rails uses gems to set the project up. Gems are pre-written software. Now that the Rails project has been created, run ls. I can see the project directory, Learn Rails Blog. You could also see the Learn Rails Blog directory if you go into your Learn Rails folder. cd into Learn Rails Blog. Run ls to list out the files and folders inside of Learn Rails Blog. I can see the contents of this directory. To start the local Rails server, run Rails server. Copy localhost 3000, open a browser, and paste this URL in. I can see a screen that says, yay, you're on Rails. Great, the Rails app is up and running locally. To shut down the local Rails server, open terminal and hit Ctrl+C. I want the project to use version control. Version control is helpful because if we make a mistake, we can go back to an earlier version of the project. We'll use git for version control. To create a new Git repository, run git init, then run git status. I know I'm in a Git repository because instead of seeing fatal, not a Git repository, I now see the files that I need to commit. To add all these files to the staging area, type git add dot. To commit these stage files, type git commit -m. And then within double quotes, you could type anything you want, but I'll put generated Rails app. Hit enter, then type git status again. It says nothing to commit. Working tree is clean. All of the project's files are up to date with version control. Like I mentioned earlier, version control is helpful because if we make a mistake, we can go back to an earlier version. Type git log. I can see the project's first commit. In this tutorial, we created a new Rails app and Git repository.